Hello, all my beautiful people. It's your girl, Tina Marie J. Welcome to my channel. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are enjoying your evening right now. I'm definitely enjoying mine. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I'm going to be going away tonight for the Poconos for the weekend with my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and some other-in-laws. And we're actually celebrating my sister-in-law's birthday, which is today. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing this weekend. And then my birthday is Monday, but I'm not celebrating my birthday until next weekend. So yeah, we'll see what I'm gonna do. I'll try to take some pictures for you guys, but I haven't gone out in a long while. I haven't done anything that involved people. So this is gonna feel very people-y for me. So yeah, coming out my little shell for a little bit, decided to just go ahead and socialize. But sorry guys, I seem like I'm all over the place. I'm actually really sleepy right now. Okay, so we're gonna get started on this. So I actually am gonna get straight into this video, but first I would just like to ask that if you do like my videos, then do give it a thumbs up, because it does help with the algorithm. It helps to get my videos out so other people can see them. And if you like my channel and you've been following me, or you've been listening to a couple of my videos, then definitely don't be shy. Go ahead and press the subscribe button. I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush through because I want to go to sleep and like take a nap before I gotta go. But I really want to get this video out. Okay, so go ahead and just subscribe. All right, and if you're not yet, then make sure you go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Tina Marie _J. That's me right there. But my name is already on the screen anyway, so you'll see. But make sure you're following me on my IG. And make sure that you check down below in the description box. I have all the information you need, including my one-on-one coaching, which I have opened back up recently. This is available here. Thanks for those of you who've been reaching out, asking for sessions. I mean, it motivates me to see that there are still people who are interested in knowing more from me personally. Not that I'm anyone special, but just the fact that you trust enough to want to work with me. It makes me feel really inspired, and I honestly love doing it. I really do. I thoroughly enjoy doing it. So make sure you just check that out. The link is in the bio, also in my description. It's in the description box. And also, if you go to my Instagram, you'll see it in my link tree, which is in my bio. You'll find everything in my link tree, like everything you need, links, everything. All right, let's get straight into this, guys. So, all right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about losing God's love after you leave a cult. There are a lot of people who deal with this, and they don't realize that they're not the only ones who are dealing with this. They think that they're the only ones, like they're crazy. And let me tell you, I dealt with this severely. I felt like I was losing everything, and that was a really big thing that kept me in the ICOC, was feeling like if I leave, I'm going to lose friendships, I'm going to lose connection, I'm going to lose God, and I'm going to lose the opportunity to get to heaven. And I need to be in this church in order to get to heaven. I need to be here. I need to be a part of this community in order to get into heaven. This is what I thought in the church that I was in. This was my cult. So you may have been in a different cult. You may have been Jehovah's Witness. You may have been a part of some cult that no one really has ever heard of, some made up cult. It doesn't matter. All cults really operate the same, even religious cults. A lot of people don't realize, but they're really disguised with their Bible. They use the Bible as a disguise. So when you really look into cults and how they operate and how leaders are, and you look at the characteristics and the traits of the leaders of these cults, you see that they really all are one and the same. Really is no different. They just use different things to kind of disguise and hide behind, just like how the ICOC uses the Bible to hide behind, and so do Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, all religious cults do. All right, so God's love. How many of you have felt like after you left your cult, like you just did not feel loved by God? You felt like, you know what, maybe God just doesn't love me anymore. God just doesn't care about me anymore. like I said, I definitely felt that way. And you probably were actually even told you left God. You're probably bashed and just shoved straight face down into the ground. You left God. You're a heathen. You left God. Just understand, if you walk out this door and you don't come back next Sunday, that's on you. You left God. Like, they just want to make sure that you understand that. They continue to highlight and reiterate and just capitalize every letter in those words. You left God, to the point where you leave the church and you're just like, oh crap, I really just left God. Like, God's in there. God can't come out. No, you don't understand. God is locked behind the door. He cannot come out. He only is there for the people in that church. That's it. Accessibility for the people in that church, and that's it. Nobody else. That's how it works. I mean, seriously, how much sense does that make? That sounds absolutely ridiculous. So that is something that a lot of people believe. And I'm sorry, guys, but this video might possibly be a tiny bit long because I kind of got a lot of talking points and stuff. All right, so let's see. So I want to actually, okay, so this is just a quick little trigger warning for you guys. I am going to read a Bible scripture that I'm pretty sure sounds familiar to you. If you were in the ICOC, I know you definitely heard this Bible scripture probably a bit too many times, like I have. All right. So again, trigger warning. I am about to read some Bible scriptures that relate to leaving God, quote unquote, leaving God. These Bible scriptures are a huge reason as to why people leave their cult and believe that they have left God or left whoever they feel is their God. All right. So if you were in the same cult that I was in, and I know you definitely can relate to this. So in Matthew 7:22, we'll do 22 to 23. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. I'm sorry, guys. I had to mute myself because I had to cough real quick. My throat got super itchy. All right, so I know that a lot of you guys have heard that, and I've heard it so many times, like countless times. And I know that for me, the first time I heard it, it really scared the crap out of me because this was before I even left, before I even said or even really thought I was gonna ever leave. And someone had said to me, she had recited this verse to me, and I was just like, why are you telling me this? Why are you reading this to me? What are you trying to say? Like, what are you insinuating here? And she's just like, well, I noticed you've been missing a couple of Sundays, and I know you said that you're dealing with depression. Just know that this is what you're facing. Like, this is what you're up against, and this is what is going to happen on your judgment day. And so you need to get right with God and get right with God quick because we're coming to the end. And that really scared me. I just was like, I felt like I started sweating. I was like, oh my God. And this was during the time when I was on medication because I was having so many anxiety attacks to the point where I just wish I could fall asleep and not wake up for at least a good 24 hours just so that I could take a rest from all the anxiety I was experiencing. Even in between my panic and anxiety attacks, it was too much. So her telling me that, it made my anxiety skyrocket even more. And it was crazy because the whole point of the phone call was I was calling to talk to her, hoping that I could let out how I was feeling. I was going through some depression and a lot of frustration and confusion, and a lot of it had to do with the church, but I didn't really know how to express that and who to talk to because I was taught that I had to keep those emotions inside because that's from the devil, that's from Satan, that's not from God, that's not of God. So I can't express those emotions. So I actually wanted to speak to her, and I barely really expressed anything, and she just told me that freaking Bible verse. I was just like, what the hell? Why did she read that to me? All right, so I spent enough time on that. So now I actually wanted to go into here's another trigger warning. Now, I'm not going to read all of these. This is on the website, but these are just some Bible scriptures that I think that a lot of people kind of hold on to, and they leave the church, and they're just like, crap. This is me. This is completely me. I'm doomed. This is my destiny. This is what's going to happen. That's it. I'm done for. And I'm going to read them. All right, so I'm going to start with Deuteronomy 28:20. The Lord will send upon you curses, confusion, and rebuke in all you undertake to do until you are destroyed, and until you perish quickly on account of the evil of your deeds, because you have forsaken me. Forsaken me. That's the thing that a lot of people get hung up over, is that whole forsaken part. Let's see. So many. It just kind of bothers me a little bit. It's kind of like, all right, here goes another one. Joshua 24:20. If you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods, then he will turn and do you harm and consume you after he has done good to you. Foreign gods. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a second. I just want to find, there was one more I was looking at. Okay, this is the last one I'm going to read. Isaiah 1:28. But transgressors and sinners will be crushed together, and those who forsake the Lord will come to an end. There's a whole lot more, but I'm be honest, I don't want to read this stuff. Like I don't know, right? In this moment, it's not triggering or anything like that. It's just, I just don't want to read this stuff. I don't understand it. And that's for a whole nother video. I don't want to get into that. I just don't understand the things that are in the Bible, even if, let's just say, yes, that there's Jesus and there's God, and you go to heaven. But it's like, but really the Bible, like the stuff that's in the Bible, it's like, let's say then you meet God at the gates, and God is like, has to make the decision of where you're going to go. It's like, dang, but God, you put some crazy stuff in that Bible. Like that's kind of rough. You're kind of a rough leader. I mean, I don't know. Everyone has their own, and this is leading into what I want to talk about right now, which is about these other gods. You hear Christians so many times say, don't worship any other gods. We're not supposed to worship or honor any other gods. We're only supposed to worship and honor Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And I understand that from a Christian's, perspective. I understand how Christians think in that way, and how a lot of them feel like worshiping other gods, to them, they can put that label on just about anything that you enjoy, anything that you like to do a lot, or you like to partake in often, or anything that you will take up and do. You'll be like, you know what, I don't really feel like going to church today. I kind of want to relax and catch up on my Netflix. Now it's like, okay, you're replacing God. This is your God. Netflix is your God. It's like, no, Netflix isn't my God. I just want to relax. I want to relax this Sunday, and I want to watch Netflix. I don't want to go to church. I just don't want to. Wouldn't it just be nice if you could be a Christian and it could be okay to say, I don't want to go to church today? How about if one day you die and you meet God, and God is like, you're an idiot because I never made a rule that you have to be at church every Sunday. Like, you could chill on the couch and pray, and I'm right there, and there goes your church. You don't have to go to a church with people all the time in order to be near me. So I think everyone has their own definition of God. And this is my perspective. This is my opinion. I am not in any way trying to make it seem as though my opinion or thoughts or views on what God is to me is accurate and 100% right, and everyone else is wrong. But that would be ridiculous. Like, when you think when you start to use critical thinking and you start to use logic after you leave a cult or even after you leave religion, and there's no respect to anyone who is a part of any faith or who isn't a part of the cult that I was in, no disrespect to any of you, but you really do start to look at things in a more logical way, and it's hard to kind of go back. So for me to think that my idea of God is correct and everyone else is wrong, it's kind of even, I know everyone's getting tired of hearing this term, but narcissistic in a way, because I mean, come on, seriously, I'm no one special. Like, who the hell am I? I'm special, yes, but I'm not more special than anybody else. So I kind of see it like that when it comes to a lot of these religions, and even in Christianity, because there are a lot of Christians who have their own different idea of who they think God is. You know, they think who they think you would consider God. If you enjoy riding your bike to the point where they feel like, you know what, you're riding your bike a lot, I think that you should start coming to our different church events instead and doing our mission trips or whatever. Like, no, I like to ride my bike. I like to do the marathons in the city. I like to ride my bike. Then all of a sudden that suddenly is, oh, that's your God. That's your God. You're worshiping a whole nother God. It could be anything. It could be an addiction, which I understand when it comes to things like that. I understand when it comes to something that's toxic, something that's unhealthy for you, you know, something you could be addicted to, not necessarily a drug, but anything could be an addiction. I can understand that. But I just think that a lot of people in religion get it all just twisted up, and they just, boom, oh, you're treating that as your God. And so I've talked enough about this, but basically I just believe that a lot of people see it very, very, very differently. All right, so let's move on to the next talking point. Now, tell me if any of this sounds familiar. I'm on the wide path and I need to be on the narrow. I'm afraid God will say he never knew me. God is going to forget me. It says it in the Bible. I think God is mad at me. I'm afraid of being judged and sent to hell. All right, so guys, honestly, this is really, really, really a lot to unpack here. But I'm going to try to unpack whatever I can right now in this one video, okay? And in other videos, we'll just have to unpack more. But let's just really unpack this little bit right here that we have. So first, before I go into this one, let me just say that a lot goes into healing when you leave a cult. It's not as simple as, okay, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to get over it. No. When you've really been affected, and I'm talking about those who've actually been affected, if you feel like you may have been traumatized, or if your family notices you've changed and they think maybe you need some counseling, you may have been traumatized, that means that it's going to take you a while to overcome it. Not get over, I don't like to say that, but to overcome it, to overcome the emotions that comes with leaving a cult. Because when you leave a cult, a lot comes with that. But there's also a lot of misconceptions, and there's also a lot of lies, and there's a lot of brainwashing that happens. So when you leave a cult, you're going to feel and think a lot of these things that I had just mentioned here. So let me see. I want to tell you guys mine. Let me see. Which one here on the list is something that I mostly related to? Well, my big thing was definitely being afraid of going to hell. I was afraid if I'm not in this church, I just might go to hell. At first, that was a thing. And then I started to realize how stupid that really sounded. I'm like, no, but that's so dumb. Because, you know, I mean, that basically just means that everyone in this church is going to go to heaven, and everyone who believes in God and follows Jesus in other churches is not going to heaven. And that sounds really stupid. So after a while, that wasn't really a thing for me. But I was afraid that God was upset at me, and I was afraid that I wasn't going to get any love from God. My biggest thing was that I thought God wasn't going to give me any any blessings. Like I wasn't going to have any blessings. I was told when I left my church, they said that I wouldn't see any blessings because I wasn't there. I had to be there in order to be blessed. So I was afraid that I wasn't going to receive any blessings, and good things weren't going to happen for me. I was afraid a whole bunch of bad things would just happen for me. And that ended up really not being true. A lot of good things ended up happening for me after I left. Actually, more good things happened for me in my life overall in general after I left the church that I was in compared to how my life was when I was in the church, and even prior to before I even became a part of that church. So yeah, a lot of these emotions are very, very common, and these are emotions that people feel. They tell you the scriptures about being on the narrow path, and only very few will get to heaven, and then because it's in the Bible, it makes it even more believable if you believe in the Bible, and if you follow the Bible, and if you follow the faith. So when you leave the church and you have all of these fears and you're afraid God doesn't love you, God doesn't care about you, God is going to say that he doesn't know who you are, you have all these fears. It's so easy to really believe in these things when you have been brainwashed, when you've been indoctrinated by this cult, especially if you've been in it for a certain period of time. But to be really honest, you don't need to be in this church, in a cult for years and years. It really is a very fast. It goes quickly. It's a very fast acting thing that happens to you mentally. It takes over your mind. It takes over your mind very quickly. Within months, I would say, a person could become brainwashed in a cult, and no one can tell you exactly why you specifically ended up falling for it. But it's nothing to be ashamed of. And I do notice that some people make these stupid comments and little douchebag comments like, oh, that's stupid, I'm too smart to be in a cult. Like, no, douchebag, you're not too smart to be in a cult. Maybe you could be too smart to be in the cult I was in, but you could still be a part of any other cult. I mean, honestly, it doesn't take an idiot to be in a cult. Any genius can get enlisted, can be recruited can be recruited into a cult, because there's so many. Because first of all, no one is perfect, and I'm not saying that there's no one in the world who can beat it, but I honestly think in order to avoid it, you would have to have a lot of self-awareness, and you would have to really it would be good for you to know and be educated on what a cult is and what a cult is not. So that's actually going to be my next talking point. You really should educate yourself. If you educate yourself, then you have better chances of not ever joining a cult. Or if you're already in a cult and you're trying to avoid falling into a trap that is cultish, it doesn't have to be a cult, but anything toxic, a toxic pattern that includes any kind of manipulation, any kind of brainwashing, persuasion, things of that nature that resemble the characteristics and traits of the cult that you were in. Anything of that nature, in order to avoid falling into that trap again, you really, really want to educate yourself. Google's your best friend. I always tell my kids are always asking me for help. Always want to know, what is this? What is that? What's the definition of this? What's the definition of that? Hello. When I was your age, I had the freaking encyclopedia and the dictionary, and I hated that crap. My mom made me use all the time. Now I got Google, so I'm going to be using Google all the time. My kids, of course, never use Google. So I always say Google is your best freaking friend. Educate yourself. You want to learn and understand what a cult is and what a cult is not. So in the description below this video, you'll see I have some links to some articles that you guys could check out. I'm going to be making some videos on some of these articles where we're going to get into the characteristics of cults, so you could really know and understand what to really, really look out for. I've done so many cult videos, but I have some things that I think I've kind of missed out on when it comes to actually getting into detail on certain things. So I want to really get a little bit more into that with you guys, because I see that a lot of people are still having trouble with even identifying that they're in a cult or that they're getting into a new one, because there are a lot of people who will leave a cult and then they join a whole new one or something that resembles it, and they kind of ignore all of the red flags. And you really don't want to ignore the red flags, because the red flags are there to help you. You want to pay attention to that. All right, so now we're going to move on to my fourth talking point. So after you leave a cult, you're going to experience a lot of emotions. I mean, a lot of emotions. You're going to feel a lot of mixed emotions, and it could become very overwhelming. A lot of people fall into a depression. Some people end up having anxiety. A lot of people end up deciding to just go get therapy, which I completely suggest that you do get some professional counseling, some professional help. I suggest that people look into therapy to help with a lot of those overwhelming emotions. And if you personally feel for you that medication is going to be of help, then I say go for it. But there are other natural ways that you can give yourself the help that you need through the healing, through this journey that you're experiencing, that you're going through. And that's basically what I did. So these are the things that you may be experiencing after you've left a cult, okay? So fear, dread, feeling isolated, feeling anxious, a lot of anxiety. You may be feeling alone, like you don't have anyone, or just feeling loneliness, wishing you had someone around, wishing you can have someone who could hear you, who could understand you, wishing you had someone who had been through what you're going through that could tell you something. Well, that's what I'm here for. So I'm glad you guys have found my channel. You may be feeling depression. You may be dealing with some anxiety. Not anxiety, dealing with sadness, feeling bouts of sadness. I know for me, I did deal with a lot of bouts of sadness. Like one minute I was okay, and then the next minute, all of a sudden, I just started crying. And I was just like, what the hell? Why am I crying for? So you may be dealing with these different emotions, and it's just like a whole yo-yo effect. Feeling confusion, kind of feeling like you just don't understand. You just need clarity. You don't understand what's going on. You understand that you left, but it's a lot to process. It's a lot to process. You may be dealing with feeling lost. You may feel kind of like a kitten or a puppy out in the wild, all on your own. That's how I felt. I don't know. Maybe you didn't, but that's definitely how I felt. That was a big thing for me. I felt so lost. I felt like a baby deer, like Bambi, out in the woods all alone, and it's like raining and storming, and there's no one there to call me, to pray with me. So what am I going to do? Because I cannot direct my own life without these people calling me and praying with me on the phone and forcing me to come to church on Sunday. That was legit how I felt. I'm not even lying to you. So you may be feeling that way, or you may feel unworthy, feeling like you're just not worth much. You're not worth a whole lot. You don't have a whole lot of purpose. You're not worth God's love. You're not worth Jesus' love. You're not worth anyone continuing friendship with you after you've left. You may feel very unworthy. You may feel very replaceable. Like all of a sudden, all these people that you used to be cool with, they no longer talk to you. They completely stop talking to you. And now all of a sudden you're by yourself, and they have these new friends who just joined the church. You see their pictures all over Facebook, and you're feeling really crappy because these people are the same people that celebrated birthdays with you. You went to their baby showers. You may have been attended their wedding as a guest. You may have been there on some double dates. You may have babysat their kids, and here they are no longer speaking to you. So you feel kind of replaceable. You feel like you just don't matter anymore. I'm not a part of that community, so I don't get those perks. I left that membership. You may be dealing with feeling shame, a lot of shame. That's extremely common. I mean, honestly, majority of people, I think, deal with shame after they leave. I definitely dealt with shame. And shame is very common in a cult where you have a lot of people, other members who will try and persecute you for even sharing your opinion or your concern, things that you don't like, things that bother you, and they may make you feel shameful. I know that's what happened to me. Right before I had decided to leave, I spoke to my discipling partner, and I had explained to her how I felt, and she was also part of the leaders. So I explained to her how I felt and what I felt needed to change. And she completely shamed me and reminded me of how horrible I was. All right, she didn't say I was horrible, but she may as well. She reminded me of all the things that I needed to work on to get right with God so I could get to heaven, because I wasn't right with God. Therefore, I had no right to have any opinion on what's going on in the church. And I was like, this is some bull crap. First of all, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this no more. I'm not going to go back and forth with these people no more. I can't even share my opinion. I may as well just be caged away in some jail cell. I don't understand how this is supposed to work, where you have members, but you don't allow your members to express themselves and to express concerns and to say when they feel something is wrong. So that was basically what I dealt with. And the guilt. The guilt is a really serious thing. The guilt. You guys may be feeling a lot of guilt. Guilt and shame obviously really go hand in hand together. Feeling guilty, like almost like maybe something is your fault. Maybe you were wrong. Maybe what if I'm wrong? What if I am supposed to be a part of this church, of this group? What if they were right? What if I die? And then I find out that I was wrong the whole entire time. Just what if? A whole bunch of what ifs. Look, do me a favor, guys. I love you. Just throw the freaking what ifs out the freaking window, because let me tell you, those what ifs mean absolutely nothing. They're either you do it or you don't. And that's like that for everything in life. Either you get it done or you don't. But there is no what if. All right. Once you do it, it's done. If you want to go back, you could go ahead, but you'll never really know what would happen because you've already made the decision. It's just a matter of being of trusting yourself, trusting your decisions that you make. And trust is a really big thing when it comes to leaving cults. So that's a whole nother conversation in itself, because when it comes to trust, you would really have to learn how to trust yourself. All right. So I want to move on to my next talking point, which is indoctrination is the cause for your trauma. So you have been indoctrinated. This is exactly why you're dealing with these emotions. This is exactly why you feel the way that you feel after you have left your cult. So I want to actually read the definition for you for the word indoctrinate. All right, so let's see what it says for indoctrinate. Teach a person or a group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. All right, so that's what indoctrinate is. When you're teaching a group of people in a cult, let's say a group of people, to accept a set of beliefs without being able to use their critical thinking skills, something that we all are supposed to just freely be able to use, because that's a part of our human rights. We're supposed to be able to freely use our critical thinking skills. So I decided to look up critical thinking. So let's see, where is it? I have the definition, and it says the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form a judgment. So that got me to thinking. I hear people talking so much about critical thinking and how people, don't use critical thinking in religion, and how you're not allowed to use it in religion, not just cults, but in religion in general. And I don't know, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about that, because I kind of want to understand why is that. I do realize that there is a bit of a disconnect when it comes to critical thinking and Bible thinking, where you just believe everything the Bible says, no matter what. That's it. You take it for exactly what it is. All right, so let's see, my next talking point. That was pretty much it. Those are all my talking points. So all right, so guys, look, the most important thing I really want you to take away from this is that I want you to understand it is very important to learn about cults, learn about it, learn about the psychology of a cult, learn about what they do, learn about the leaders and what the leaders often look like, what they show themselves as, what their characteristics and their traits are. It's very important that you learn about it. The minute that I started learning about cults, and I'm sorry if my phone was going off buzzing. I had it on my desk and didn't realize that my mic is right there. All right. What was I saying? When I started learning about cults, and when I started really learning about cults, it really gave me an amazing understanding that I never would have expected. It gave me an understanding and a huge eye-opening moment. I had like this huge eye-opening moment where I was just like, oh crap. I always thought cults looked like this, and that. But now, with all this research I'm doing, learning all these things I didn't know, I'm learning that cults actually look like this, and that. So it's very important that you learn, because the more that you learn, the more understanding you'll have of why you went through what you went through, the more understanding you'll have of how it affected you and why it's affecting you the way it is. And if you can understand how and why something's affecting you, then it'll be easier for you to learn how to get onto the path towards where you need to be on your journey towards healing. And that is basically how I really did my healing, when I had decided that I was going to leave the cult, and I found myself at this place where I felt totally lost and depressed and just feeling a lot of shame. I realized I needed to heal. I was like, I cannot live like this. There's no way I can live like this. I'm so freaking depressed. I'm so upset. My relationship was to crap because, I mean, my husband wasn't happy with me and my decision of leaving the church. And it was very, very difficult. I really felt like I had no one on my side. YouTube was the only thing I had. You guys really were the only thing I genuinely had at that moment. And that was in 2017. I mean, YouTube was the only thing I had. It really helped me with my healing. You have to find that thing that is going to really help you with healing. And this is for anything you go through in life. You have to find that thing and hold on to it. That thing that just makes you feel alive, that thing that makes you feel like, yes, I can put all my emotions, all my passion, all my pain into this thing. Find that thing, even if it's just one. Like for me, it's content and my writing. Those are my thing. What's your thing? It can be more than one thing. It can be one thing, but try to find that thing. And whatever that thing is, really hold on to it. You may know what it is. A lot of people have that thing and they join a cult and they get so wrapped up in it and they let that thing go. And cults are very, very good for making people forget about their dreams and forget about the things that they really love the most. And they make people feel guilty for enjoying something else, as if you can't put down the Bible for a couple of hours just to enjoy something else. I mean, all these things are here for us to enjoy. We have a life to enjoy, and you have to start somewhere, but you have to decide. You have to decide for yourself that you're not going to sit here and spend the rest of your life in agony over the past, over something that happened that you cannot change. You cannot change the fact that you were in a cult. You cannot change the fact that you were traumatized, that you were hurt, that you fell for, quote unquote, fell for this, as some people will say. You cannot change that. But what you can do is take the lessons that comes with, and you can decide to change what that outcome is going to look like. Decide, am I going to sit here and live in depression and be on medication over something that I cannot change for the next 10 to 20 years? Or am I going to say, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna find a way and I'm gonna do what I have to do, and I'm gonna get myself together. And you're gonna make sure you just do it day by day. It's just a day by day thing. And as you go day by day, do a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Just do something nice for yourself. take yourself out, spend time with yourself, a lot of alone time, just a little more day by day. As you're doing that, it becomes so much easier. You're putting yourself first. You're starting to love yourself. You're becoming stronger. And before you know it, you'll be on your journey towards healing, and you'll be hitting me up in the DMs talking about, oh my God, Tina, I feel so much better. Thank you for your videos. I feel so much more alive. I'm telling you, and I'm not saying it's to give myself credit. It's to give you credit. Give you your own pat on the back because you did it for you. I love getting those kind of messages. And it's not because I'm bigging myself up. No, forget about me. It's because I'm very excited to know that there are people out there that are healing. There are people out there that realize they need to heal. And if you realize you need to heal in this, imagine how many other areas of your life you need to heal in that you may decide, you know what? If I can go through healing when it comes to this area of my life, when it comes to my religion, my church, my faith, whatever, I can heal in these other areas that I have been avoiding my healing in. And that is big. And that is something that you should be proud of. And it's something that I'm super proud of anytime I hear those messages from people that I get that tell me that they have decided to go through with their healing, or they have told me that they have felt so much more healed. They're getting therapy. They've gotten back into a hobby that they love to do, or they started up some sort of a business that they've always wanted to do, but they were told they couldn't because of the church. I get very freaking excited. So keep on doing your thing. Keep on trying, living day by day. That's all it really takes. It's just a day by day thing, and you will get there, guys. All right. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast video here. I really appreciate it. I know it was super long, but I was really excited to get this video out for you guys because a lot of you guys have the same concerns, and it's important we address them. All right. So make sure that you do subscribe, like, and share for anyone that you may know who may benefit off of my channel, off of these videos. Make sure you're following me on my Instagram. Also, I love to hear your thoughts, so leave your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you have any video requests, anything you'd like me to address in a video, let me know in my DM on Instagram or on Facebook, and I'll make sure I make note of that. And also in the description box, I have the links. You can book a coaching call with me. Your first consultation, 30 minutes free. After that, if you would like to book a session, then you can. And so that information is down below. For those of you who have been booking with me, thank you so much. I appreciate and I love you guys all so much, and appreciate how you guys are taking in a lot of my tips and suggestions. It really shows that you guys really do want to take charge of your life, and you don't want to continue living feeling stagnant. You deserve to enjoy your freaking life. So damn it, enjoy your freaking life. I love you guys all so much. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.